The Imago concept is really about a new consciousness for relationships. In the Imago system, we invite every couple to realize that the purpose of their relationship is to heal one another, for two people to commit to the healing of one another's childhood wounds.
Well, and the way that's done is through a structure that we've developed that's called dialogue, or Imago couples dialogue. And dialogue is a structured process. It has 3 parts to it, and one is mirroring.
So dialogue is a structured process.
It's a structured process.
And it has 3 parts.
It has three parts.
Am I getting that right?
You're getting it right. And the first part is mirroring. And what mirroring does is help you really hear at a deep level what your partner is saying, or what anybody is saying in any context. Mm-hmm. And that's a very important first step. But we're aware that mirroring by itself is not as effective as when you add validation.
Mirroring, validation.
Validation. And validation is seeing your partner's point of view and seeing it and accepting it without judgment.
That is hard sometimes.
That is really
very
hard for me.
Yes.
With sometimes your point of view is very hard to see.
And yours too.
And mine too.
Yes.
So if I'm getting that,
yes.
You have a hard time seeing my point of view
yes.
at times.
Yes, from time to time.
But when I do see your point of view, or you see mine, and you say, that makes sense, what happens inside of me is that I feel visible. And I feel like I'm there.
So when I say, that makes sense, you feel visible.
Yeah, I don't have to push anymore. Somehow I'm present, I'm available. And then the third piece that makes it even a more meaningful and deeper and more healing experience for me is empathy. Mm-hmm. And empathy is when you say, not only I get it and it makes sense, but you say, I'm also feeling, I can imagine you must be feeling either mad, sad, glad, or some feeling about that. Mm. When that happens, when that happens between us, when you do that, something happens between us that makes me feel safe. Mm. And I feel my defenses are down, and I'm now able to be undefended, and because I'm in a safe space.
So what I'm hearing you say is that when we're living together and bumping into each other and just juggling all the balls, that when you're talking, and especially if it gets conflicted, if I will stop and mirror and validate and empathize with your words, that's a way to keep a relationship healthy and safe.
Yeah.
Even if I have a different opinion.
Oh, the difference is irrelevant to the fact that I somehow am validated. I'm not invalidated.
Right.
I actually am here.
You know, Harville, you said something the other day that I thought summed it all up in a way that hadn't been summed up before. You talked about our job is to become present for our beloved. And our job is to practice presence for the one we love. And the dialogue process gives me a structure where I can pause, suspend my own thought process and my critique of what Harville has just said and my counter of what he has said. Occasionally I do want to counter you.
We'll let that go.
But if I just suspend my own thinking and dialogue with you, it helps me practice becoming present to your process.
Yes.
And that's what an Imago couple does. They learn the skills to become present for one another's process, to become witnesses to one another's experience.
And to witness it, and the important piece of this is witnessing, being present without judgment. That is, there's just my there-ness. There's just your there-ness.
And sometimes your there-ness really bugs me.
So if I'm getting this, sometimes my there-ness, or my here-ness, I'm here, bugs you.
You got it.
And
so it's like your otherness is really very disruptive to my experience.
And that's the other piece about presence, is otherness.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you're not present for me, but being other, than me, I feel frustration and sometimes resentment.
About me?
No, about your otherness.
Oh, okay.
I feel
It's hard to imagine.
it's. I realize that it's really hard to imagine, but it's really, I think, hard for all of us to imagine otherness and to acknowledge that there's no such thing as sameness, and that the desire for sameness and similarity is an illusion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that what we really ultimately have to come to in marriage is that we, or in any committed partnership, or in any friendship, business, we really are in a relationship with another person.
Harville, imagine if we learned to do that in our relationship, and imagine if other Imago couples learned to do it in their relationships. We'd be practicing a skill that the world badly needs.
Yes.
Everyone's talking about, I wish there was peace in the world, and then we're frustrated with our partners, and we're just really angry at the jerk we're married to. Well, if we can't figure out how to have peace at home, what hope is there for peace in the world? So this gives us, this is an agenda that's for our primary relationship, but it's really a world agenda too.
Yeah, I agree with that. That through peace in the world will ultimately come through peace in relationships, intimate partnerships, and peace in the family. And that the dialogue process is the mechanism that can make that happen for all of us.
Yes, and that's what Imago is about.